Once you get past your launch tastings, the biggest indicator of your success will be whether or not you choose to work consistently. Most reps, in fact, I might go so far as to say all reps who end up with mediocre results or quitting, fall into that boat because they chose not to put in small but consistent daily effort. All of us here at Wildtree work for ourselves. We don't have a boss requiring us to make a certain number of calls a day or follow up with that potential host by Tuesday. It's up to us to be disciplined enough to get those things done in a timely manner. But all of us have a limited amount of discipline. Even those of us who are totally on top of things and with the best intentions get easily sidetracked by a tough day at work, sick kids, laundry to finish, etc. So what ends up happening is that for sure party falls through because we never followed up with her. Or that host who wants to join your team changes their mind after all when a week later you've never contacted her. Systems are what we can fall back on when our discipline fails us. The single most important system to keep your business going will be the 10 calls a day. The purpose of this training is to share the purpose for the 10 calls a day, give you a system to make it successful, and share how it will impact your business. So let's start with the purpose. There are 4 main reasons we do the 10 calls a day. First, to fill your calendar. Second, to make your customers feel valued. This is remarkable customer service these days, and not many companies or services do it. When you do it, you'll stand out. The third is to create consistent work habits, which on a subconscious level shape how you view your business. And the fourth is a benchmark. It tells you that you put in an honest day's work. So let's start with filling your calendar. Only 1 or 2 people in a room have the personality needed to book a show on the spot. These people are impulsive and go with their gut. It doesn't mean they're reckless. It just means they don't overthink things. Some of the people in the room, however, are measured. They don't make any decision without a pros and cons list or a thorough evaluation. Most reps leave a show with a few bookings from those impulsive people, but then they make the mistake of thinking that there are no more bookings to be had because they already asked everyone. In our experience, 2 to 3 more will book when asked later. They just needed to think about it. The remaining guests still may not book, but they will appreciate your follow-up. This will give them a general good feeling about you that will lead to more orders or lead them to refer you. Let's talk about valuing your customers. Your customers can choose to do business anywhere. You want them to choose you. Our theory is that you have trusted them enough to purchase a product from you. You owe them the respect and courtesy that a phone call provides. Consistency. This is a big one. We talk about the exponential results that come from working consistently. Consistent calls lead to a full calendar, which generates more income and puts us in front of enough people to build an organization. But there's a bigger factor in play here. How we think about our business on a subconscious level directly affects our drive and the effort we put in. People who work every day feel like they run a business. These people set goals, which they then work toward. These same people also have a higher success rate, given that they put more time in, and with that comes increased confidence. Of course, a person with increased confidence sets more stretch goals than they would have otherwise. So the 10 calls a day person, in essence, sets more goals and sets higher goals. It's no wonder these people are more successful. When your business is on your mind every day because you have work that day, you see opportunities that you would have otherwise missed. People who work every once in a while or in spurts are not treating Wildtree as a business, so they don't think of it as a legitimate business. Treating it like a hobby will generate hobby results. So as you can see, there's a great vicious cycle that comes into play when you make those 10 calls a day. And finally, the benchmark. Most people work their Wildtree business alongside 12 other things. The flexibility this business provides is what brought most of us here. We chose Wildtree because we already had a full plate. The same type of person who needs flexibility also needs accountability. This isn't a desk job. It's really easy to get sidetracked by the other needs of that day. And sometimes, even with the best intentions, we don't get around to putting in that honest day's work. 10 calls a day provide the accountability and systems to keep the everyday distractions from getting in our way. Now let's go over the system because yes, it is a system. It consists of 2 things: a daily planner where your 10 calls are logged and a follow-up email. These need to be done in tandem. One without the other will yield significantly different results. We'll talk about that in a minute. The best calendar to use for this can be found at OfficeMax or any other office supply store. It should be a day planner style with a page for each month at a glance, and then following the pages, each week should be shown at a glance with a large block or column for each day. The space needs to be large enough to write 10 names and corresponding phone numbers. Most are the size of a spiral-bound notebook you would find at school. A calendar like this is portable. A spreadsheet or a computerized version usually means that you can only make your calls when you're tethered to your desk or office. Working in pockets of time or on the go is part of what makes this work. So to begin the system, make your list of calls for the next 3 days. If you are starting your business and inviting people to your launches, you can fill in the blocks with those people, at least 10 a day and maybe more since you're trying to get the word out quickly. If you are just past your launches and doing your follow-up phone calls, you can start with those people, calling 10 each day. Your first day, incidentally, is a free day, in that you won't call anyone on the first day you start this. You're just preparing for the next day. You should always make your list the day or night before. Waking up ready to work is very important since, again, you'll be capitalizing on the pockets of time that present themselves throughout the day. For those of you revisiting this training and following up on leads, this is the order of priority to use for those calls. First, anyone who requested information on the business opportunity or seemed interested in the business. Second, following up with people who want to book a show. And third, anyone who purchased a product or customer service. If you've already launched and held a few parties, go through all of your old lead slips, order forms, Post-its on your desk, etc., and start filling in your calendar. You do have people to call. Even if you don't have enough people who specifically requested follow-up for a booking, then you can start with customer service. You may also consider relaunching to re-excite people and generate immediate interest. So part 1 is the call. Again, if you're brand new, your first weeks of calls should be calling people to invite them to your launch parties. Those words are detailed in the audio training titled Inviting Your Guests to Your Launch Parties. If you've already held those parties, you'll be doing follow-up phone calls. When calling a potential recruit or to get a booking, your phone call must end by telling them that you'll call them again in 2 days. For example, if I don't hear from you by Thursday, I'll try you again. This must be the last thing you say. After you hang up, write that name and number in the calendar block 2 days out, or in this case, Thursday. Your call list will be filling up as you are making your calls because you are moving names forward in your calendar. 10 calls a day are not necessarily 10 new people each day. The biggest misconception is that you are coming up with 10 unique names each day. That's not the case. Most are repeats. After you have made that call, then send her an email indicating that you called and the reason for your call. Customer service calls are one and done. You don't need to call them again. Those calls sound something like this. Hey there, Mary. It's Sonara calling from Wild Tree. I was calling to make sure that you love the products you got at Kim's Tasting. If you need any recipe ideas, please give me a call back. On another note, I'm filling my calendar up for April, and while I do remember you were not interested in hosting when we met, I know that people sometimes change their mind. If you fall into that category, I'd love to hear from you. Have a nice day. As you continue to do this and make it a habit of it, your call blocks will fill pretty quickly. When I'm at a party and someone expresses interest in booking, I ask them right then and there, what time frame are you thinking? Depending on their answer, I write their name on a future call block. When they see me write their name down, it shows them my level of commitment and they expect to hear from me. If you begin to use this system, you'll immediately be struck by how many people you had previously let fall through the cracks. There are people interested in booking or joining your team that you forgot about. And more importantly, there are people interested that didn't make themselves obvious to you at the party. So if you pride yourself on having an amazing memory and being really good at follow-up, know that without the 10 calls a day, you are still missing people who had not yet decided what they wanted to do. Part 2, as I indicated before, is the follow-up email. Over 75% of my responses come by email. Of course, this begs the question, well, why bother with a phone call? Because this is a business of people. and you cannot create a relationship solely through email. The energy in your voice is what will prompt them to reply via text or email. There is a document on this in the Resource Center titled Prefab Emails for the 10 Calls a Day. One is for the person who was definitely interested in booking, just needing to find a date. The other email is for the person who was on the fence. Take those emails and save them as drafts. Customize them to make them your own, and make sure your email has open dates in the body of the email before you send it. If you're making your calls on the go, using pockets of time while not at a computer, before the night is done, pull out those prefabbed emails and push them out to the few people who need it. This system works. Consider the system the lifeblood of your business and something that you need to do every day. What are some of the benefits of this system besides just a full calendar? Well, number one, if you're someone who's always rushing around, thinking that there's no way you can actually fit your 10 calls a day in, then this system will actually help you to better manage your time. You'll quickly realize that your lack of organization was actually what was holding you back. If you can call 5 people, you can call 10. We all have 30 minutes in our day to work, even if we have to find 3 10-minute chunks. From a business standpoint, you can be successful. You'll capitalize on almost every opportunity put before you. No more lost parties, no more lost outside orders, no more lost potential reps. What else? You look more professional and have more credibility when you follow through with what you say you're going to do. No one has the ability to keep track of all of this in their mind. Personally, I've gotten countless recruits because my timely follow-through sent an unspoken message to them that I would follow through in helping them get started. Fourth, you'll be a better coach to your new reps when you can share this simple system. This sets them up for success right away. And finally, if you have a hard time turning Wildtree off, you can now shut your office door and know that you've done your job for the day. If you need more coaching through the 10 calls a day, reach out to your upline leader. They will be more than willing and happy to help you get set up for success.